Why is it so hard to live an authentic life? I want to start today with a confession and then maybe with a little bit of hope and a little bit of forward looking. The confession is that in spite of all my, talking about facing up and living an authentic life, I find it a real challenge. And I find it puzzling that I find it to be such a challenge because I've experienced life beyond belief. I know what it's like to enter a day and live big, huge chunks of a day really um, in touch with wonder and this sense of gratitude and compassion. And I know what it's like to live that life, to really get past my obsession with the story, my frustration, and all of that. And I guess what I'm saying is I don't get why I go back. There is this existential shift from a story based life where, whether that's religious or it's just your own personal narrative or whatever, where it's all about the story and you live and die based on the story. And as I've been sharing throughout this podcast, really there's a way to break free from that I have discovered and entered into at various times. And it really is about moving away from the story as the foundation of my life and allowing that to become an expression of my existence. And I'm started to call that, what resonates with me anyway, is that it's an existential shift. It's a different way of looking at life. But so what's the problem? Why not just shift? Just boom, shift. What's the problem? Well, the problem, I think part of the problem is that I live in a story based world. All around me, there are, vast majority of people really live their life from a story basis. They're not starting from the standpoint of existence. And so you get kind of caught up in that. Not only that, I mean, I have decades of that pattern. It's ingrained. So it's natural to sort of fall back into it. A Bible verse came to mind that really seems appropriate here, where it's Romans 12:2, and Paul says, don't be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that's really, to me, what it boils down to is this new mindset, this different orientation. Speaking of orientation, you might notice that these videos are going to be kind of short and hopefully sweet for the next few weeks. I am working so hard to complete a process of trying to help people move from this story-based life to an existential foundation. I'm calling this orientation because it's a big shift in orientation. It, for me, has been a real metamorphosis. It's changed my way of facing my existence. And it is just, I mean, it's been wonderful. But like, as I'm saying, like living in that on a regular basis is a challenge to me. But I also want to be able to help other people who are feeling the frustrations of a shattered story to see that there is life beyond belief. So I'm trying to put this in a nice, succinct path that people could follow if they're interested in making this shift or seeing what I'm talking about. And I know I've been talking about it now for over a year, but what I'm trying to do is to put it into really clear and concise form. And that's hard. It's kind of like the old Winston Churchill quote, where I don't have this exactly, but it's like someone asked him, to do a speech, and he said, "Well, how long do you need? If you want a three-minute speech, I'll need 2 weeks to prepare. If you want a 30-minute speech, I'll just need 3 days. If you want an hour-long speech, I could start right now." And or to flip that over to Einstein, who said that the really, you don't understand something until you can say it simply, clearly. And so that's what I'm working so hard on right now. I just want to try to make this usable and clear and something that people can not just go like, what the heck is he talking about? but actually see, okay, that's clear. I see that. Maybe you buy it, maybe you don't. But I just want to be able to clearly express what I'm trying to do. So anyway, wish me luck as I continue to try to get this completed and out there. And in the meantime, I don't know what your issues may be right now or where you may struggle. I can tell you, here's a little more confession for you, that one of the things I struggle with, where I go to escape from an authentic life, if you remember, I used this idea of the devil's playground. There's all these rides we go on. There are many ways to say no to living, no to authentic life without killing yourself. You don't have to kill yourself to say no to your life. Two of my favorites, I call them the zombie and the leech. The zombie is one way to sort of check out of my full existence is just to surrender to sensuality. There's so many ways to do that, right? But food, what else? Sleep. I mean, even though I'm all for naps and stuff, sometimes just I can just like, you know what? I just want to check out and go lie down. I don't want to have to think. So that's the zombie, and I call it the zombie because that's what a zombie is. A zombie is a person who has no story. The story level of their life is gone, and they are pure appetite, and that's a terrifying image. And I think it resonates with us so deeply because we get that. The other one for me is the leech, and the leech is. I call it the leech because it's a way of sucking the life out of other people's stories. It's a way of looking at other people's things that are going on and like just kind of riding along with them on their story as a way of not having to face your own. So many ways to do this. One of them, of course, is just plain watching Netflix, books. There's nothing wrong with watching some Netflix, reading books, but I'm talking about when you're escaping your own narrative, your own story, your own life by sort of glomming onto someone else's. You're a leech. Another way to do this right now, and it's actually really difficult for me not to do this, is politics. Because, there's all this stuff going on in the world, and it is important, and I think I do need to be paying attention, but this goes beyond paying attention. I become like addicted to the latest thing that's happening. And so rather than living my own life, I'm glomming onto what's the latest thing that Donald Trump has done, or what's the latest thing that is happening in Iran, or whatever. The Epstein files, but just get caught up in this dramas that are, I'm not saying they're not important, but I'm just saying they're not for me. Like, I'm not like observing this as part of my world. I'm surrendering myself to those stories and just entering in and getting dragged along and experiencing vicariously the ups and downs of that particular story, whatever it may be, rather than like embracing my own. So the zombie and the leech, that's how I check out. You might want to look at the Devil's Playground. I believe that video, if you go to the homepage, you can see the 3 movements, which is about the authentic life. You can look at this whole. I think if you click on Learn More in the first box, it will take you to a link that goes through a video that describes all the rides in the Devil's Playground. In any case. Thank you so much. Those of you that are sort of, listening along, in and out, whatever, for this ride, I really appreciate it, and always love hearing from people. So hope you're having a great week. Hope you're living an authentic life.